Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 206 on this June the 16th of 2021. How's everyone doing out there? Hope you're doing fine.
Doing okay.
Well, we've got an exciting week of news. It never stops, as we always say. And with us, as normal, we have Mr. Patrick Connor joining us from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
I'm great. It's a lovely sunny day here, coming to you on battery power. And now that we've had this power wall for a while, it's fine-tuned. It used to charge up to 100% and then drain to wherever. And now it knows how much it's going to use during our peak hours. And so it's only charging to about 75 or 80% and then finishing at like 40%. So their software is getting smarter, and as it collects more data, it behaves better, and that's going to extend the life, and it's just all good stuff.
Fantastic. Patrick's got so much extra power, he lets that lightsaber behind him burn day and night. Gives him a little extra heat, too, I'm sure.
High efficiency LEDs, they're fine.
Also joining us, as per usual, Mr. Casey Green from the DC area. How are you today, sir?
My power wall is no longer located 9 feet below me. It is now 9 hours away.
It has been shipped.
Not yet installed?
I delivered it. It's on the schedule to get installed. We'll see what
Cool.
happens with it. Yeah. On my dad's house with his solar, because I didn't want to put it on my house with the tenant. It's like, they're not going to appreciate this.
Right.
Very good. Well, at least they'll be put to good use at some point
Yes.
shortly. That would be great.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, let's start with the big elephant in the room, and of course that is Plaid.
Plaid, baby.
We of course
Hello,
had
Hockey Day. Quick one in the chat.
the reveal just last week, and we of course followed that live. A ton of news, but more information came out through the week, which was certainly expected because Elon tends not to touch on everything on stage. He just touches on the points that he wanted to, or if he was frazzled, he goes a little quickly. But this particular presentation, he seemed to hit the high points. But some of the things that we noticed just after the presentation are things like that cool new badge that has been placed on the back of the Model S Plaid, which of course is a representation of an actual, I guess it's of you going through the Plaid Square.
Yeah. It looks cool, but as an owner, I don't want that. I like the old one, the one that said Plaid. That other one, the new one, looks like it'd be a pain to keep clean, even with a toothbrush.
So it's a pain to keep clean. That's why you don't like it.
It also looks a little gaudy. Like it
is
only
that
works
what you're
on,
saying?
Yeah, and also only works on a couple colors.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I like that it's a non-representation of the words. It's just it's a symbol. It's a graphic.
They don't have to translate it into 5 languages.
Yeah, that's yeah. There won't be a Chinese equivalent. That's for sure. It's just going to be as it is.
It could have been a plate that was painted.
I'm sure there will be aftermarket options. If that's the only thing stopping you from getting your Plaid vehicle, that you can spend the extra
$40,000.
Yeah, if you can afford the 130 plus, then you can also buy a $5 badge to put on it. That's whatever style you like.
Yeah. I'm still a little salty how much more power it has than my P100D, and like I need 2 more years before I can do anything with the one I've got.
Yeah, well, that's welcome to Tesla. I mean, as you know, they do not stop innovating, and that if you find something you like, buy it, and just know that a year from now it will be obsolete. maybe that's not exactly the right term.
Mine was obsolete before it got off the truck.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I bought an Autopilot 1 vehicle a month before Autopilot 2 came out, and I'm like, oh, come on!
Right?
But
give me a month.
Yeah, exactly. So don't
the badge off, a little sleeper.
Yeah, that would be a big shocker to folks.
Speaking of the exactly like the long range, because we saw Elon on stage and it didn't have the red calipers.
Right. Yeah. So externally, there's not a lot of, unless they look over and see the yoke or some other stuff.
Right.
I want to
Yeah,
see
Casey's
this.
right there. There's a lot of nooks and crannies to clean on this thing. That's for sure.
Yeah. It does go well on the black, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it would go on red. Well, also.
Red and white would probably be all right as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they ever brought back silver. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the gray. It wouldn't be so cool in the gray.
What about the jacket with that logo on the back that Elon was wearing?
That was unique.
Yeah. I looked on Tesla's store, and they're not selling it yet.
No. I think it would be just a little bit cooler if they went with a slightly taller aspect ratio. Because like right now, the only square you get is the one in the middle. Everything else is like a chop.
Hmm.
Would have been a solid. Yeah, exactly. Hockey Day should have been a solid badge with a picture of the plaid.
Or John Candy with his dog face.
Is that Barf? Yes, a picture of Barf.
That's right. Exactly.
Right. And then
so what else surprising? Another thing that was surprising was the Yoke steering wheel. Of course, it was on all vehicles that were sold that night. The 20 plus some that were given out.
The Yoke style square steering wheel.
Right.
Yeah. Not a yoke.
But what's surprising was that some of the people, of course, that were able to get into the car, because they did have a couple of test models that if you were at the event, you could get into and play with the UI as well as look around the vehicle. Couldn't drive it, but you could touch and feel everything else. And one of the people, actually Brooks from Drag Times, got into one. And he answered a question that we had a question about, which was the turning radius of the yoke. When you turn the wheel as hard as it can go, how many times does the I guess the rectangle flip around itself?
Same as today.
And it's exactly the same. There's no special feeling to it. If you're driving, we've now heard from others that it's just the regular wheel, and it's been changed to this rectangle instead of a circle.
I wonder if that was to appease the regulators, like, because if it's literally just a square wheel like the 50s and 60s, it's like, hey, you approved all of these, and ours doesn't even have any sharp corners on it. Right. And then maybe at that point they can then do the drive-by-wire or something and make that better on a future release.
Right. Yeah, you can expect that. This is a new vehicle. There's going to be updates that are going to add features and functionality for the next couple of years, definitely.
Yeah.
So
track mode improvements and other things.
Yeah. So at this point, keep in mind that again, depending on how often do you really spin the wheel to its full max? Not that often. Maybe when you're making a 3-point turn,
right,
or something along that line. But it is something to keep in mind.
And now you can just stick your finger in a corner. And
it's got a built-in knob. One of the owners was interviewed, and he had a technique of he keeps the steering set to comfort, and then he just kind of palms it. Sometimes he'll do the handover just because it's habit.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another video of somebody that just got the vehicle, and when they were doing it around a corner, they inadvertently hit the horn tap button. So I'm not saying that's surprising. It's a new piece of hardware, and people are used to the circle and have been forever.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a bit of a learning curve for everybody, because of course, not only is the wheel different, but the controls on the wheel are different than what people are used to, especially a horn being a button near your thumb. Is a little bit different than anything else. The turn signals, the autopilot engagement is a little bit different as well. So there's some things that you're going to have to change your muscle memory with, but like other things with Tesla, looking at your speedometer in say a 3 or Y, that changed pretty quickly for myself when I got the car.
Yeah, I was happy to see how well the beta for the guess your direction feature worked. as well as no, that was mostly it. There was another point I forgot about.
If there is a huge backlash against the not a yoke, then Tesla can come out with a regular round one. And
The fact that we saw them test it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the problem with that one is it does. Elon made the point about how open the cabin feels and how you don't have to do the look
Yeah.
between the spokes, or you don't have to set the wheel to where it's uncomfortable or suboptimal so that you can see through the spokes. So,
Yeah, better binnacle view with that, definitely.
yeah.
But if you hate it for other reasons, that you might be willing to look around to see the binnacle, just so you don't hit your horn all the time, or that you don't have get confused or tangled or.
The only difference between the two is how much is at the top. So
Yeah.
you'll still be hitting the horn.
Yeah, because you're not getting a stock back if you switch to the round steering wheel.
That's true.
Right. And the center
Yeah.
is just a airbag. I was happy with the horn that if you panic and smash the right-hand side of the wheel, if you hit all the buttons or enough of them, it will still sound the horn.
Oh.
Or it's a factory reset, one or the other.
Well, if you hold the wheels, yeah. But you don't have to. Oh shoot! Watch out! Oh my! Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. In an emergency situation, you just want to be able to slam and yeah. Stop backing up! Don't you hit me!
Another new feature, of course, that's unique to the Plaid is the auto shift, and a number of people looked at that, and of course, its ability to determine which way you're going based on what's blocked in front of the car. If, for example, if your car's sitting in front of your garage and there's a solid wall or door in front of you, it's going to assume that when you get into the car, you're going to want to reverse out.
Makes
and then, of
perfect
course,
sense.
the
Or
other
human.
ways to, I guess, if the car was to make a wrong decision for whatever reason, you can, on the main screen, you can swipe up or swipe down on the far left-hand side of the screen to indicate that you want to change the gear direction. And also, there are buttons with symbols that light up showing park, reverse, drive down below the chargers for the phones at the front.
Right. So if it guesses wrong and your screen is out, you still have an option to change it yourself if you want to.
Right.
Exactly.
And then the beauty of the way it goes is that it doesn't add any time if it's wrong, because you still need to shift, which you would have to do if you had a stock anyway. And the screen is right here, so you would already need to make that motion anyway to the stock. So it works out. But before you even get started, you know which direction the car is going to go, because it says push brake to go forward, push brake to go back, and you had to push the brake to turn it on anyway. So you're good to go.
Yep. And another new feature in this vehicle is, of course, the infotainment system and its huge power. Basically, a PS5 equivalent gaming platform is what we were told during the presentation. And they were playing what's that game with the motorcycle?
Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was being played in the example, and some people at the event even caught on that there was a Tesla custom controller. And not sure if this is going to be a real thing or not. Actually, we can show you the photo that we got from the event.
Yeah, and the photo I saw, it looked kind of 3D printed. So this might be just a prototype or a mock-up they made. Maybe not.
It looks a little bit like the Stadia controller. Where is that thing at?
It looks like the Yoke.
Yes, I think they definitely wanted that same look and feel as the Yoke.
So I'm not sure if this is going to be a thing or not. No one said anything about it besides someone grabbing a picture when they saw the demonstrator using this device. So this may be a thing. It may not be a thing.
It's not in the car of the guy who had it yet. He was using a Xbox controller, and then he tried a PlayStation 5, which didn't work on his interview.
Yeah, I really hope it is a thing, and that they make a spot that it sits really well, like below the screen in the back, and then I don't know where, maybe behind the screen in the front or somewhere. It would be really cool if they did make these and tuck them away in a spot that fit it perfectly and would hold it during that massive, crazy acceleration.
It's an accessory idea. Oh, I see what you mean about looks like the steering wheel at the bottom. I never did catch that contrast piece there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Another Nikki at Transport Evolved did a episode on it, and she brought up some good points about all the people complaining about tradition and blah blah blah. All of this stuff that people are talking about is like 30 years old or less. We used to have wild shaped steering wheels. All the controls were all over the place, and now they're back all over the place. Now we've got shift by wire, and the stocks weren't always the same. The headlight switches were different. In fact, even as far back as the Model T, it had 3 pedals, but the 3 pedals weren't gas, brake, and clutch. So.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Even in the Tesla's lineup of cars, the stocks have changed what they are and where they're at. And if you were moving between two of them, oh no, this one's on the left, or that one's on the right for autopilot.
Autopilot? That's
they've moved autopilot all over the place. So yeah,
cruise control even.
Yeah, exactly, and that's been around for a long time. And so there's no standard. So be innovative and come up with something better, and maybe that'll become the new standard because everybody will want to do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another item of interest that we found out was that the 12-volt battery is now lithium ion the S, and that is it's a big plus for some, because of course we've learned over time that S's and 3s even seem to burn through the batteries a little bit faster than a regular
Model
car
X
in some cases.
Patrick and I can tell you about that.
Yeah. So
even the Leaf,
knock on wood, have not had that happen
yes.
to my 3 yet after 3 years, 3+ years.
Wow. Nice.
But you guys have had some experience with having to change batteries.
I did one on the S just because that was when they still had a maintenance schedule. And then I did one on the X because it warned me it was going to die. What I like about this is, even though it's supposed to last the life of the main pack, it still looks like it's very easy for a technician to get to and replace.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2 screws and a connector. And then the same for if you, for some reason, need to jump the car. It looks like you disconnect it from the car, you jump it through its lead, and then you put it back in. At least that's how it was demonstrated by, I think Brooks demonstrated that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's about time. We don't need more lead out there,
Right.
And it's lighter. There's no reason to be hauling that thing around all the time, and especially when in a gas car you need it for the starter, and you don't need it in an electric vehicle for that. So the demands are smaller, and yet because you don't have that alternator running all the time charging it, then that's why we had this shortened life. So this is the perfect solution as far as I'm concerned. It's going to last the life of the vehicle, and it's a lower toxin, and smaller, lighter weight. I see no downside other than I can't go to AutoZone and buy one. O'Reilly's is gonna, maybe they'll start carrying these.
Well, over time, once it become popular, once Tesla rolls it out to all the vehicles, hopefully others will jump on board as well. So
yeah. I think once
but you're right, 3, out of the gate, it's going to be Tesla or nowhere.
Yeah, I think once you see the Model 3 and Model Next, it will start to appear elsewhere, and maybe through suppliers. But you bring up a good point, Patrick. It's better suited to the load that the car places on it. It can go deeper for the deep cycling, and then the voltage is actually, I think, what they say, 15 or 16 volts. So it actually matches with what the car is actually expecting, and it's a good choice.
And last but not least, we were told about this on stage as well, and this was about the carbon wrap on the motor rotor.
Yeah,
because we've got a motor now that's tops out at, what is it, 20,000 RPM?
Right, 20,000 plus. They've definitely hinted that there might be some software updates to jack that up even faster, and they're going to do the same thing on the Roadster. and it's probably going to be a little faster over there.
I did go through the parts catalog and found that the front motor is still a small sized motor. I don't know if it's permanent or AC, but if it's AC, then it's probably based on the Model 3, because that motor used to be our permanent motor on the legacy cars. But the carbon, that seems really cool, I mean, especially once you compare it to the steel, and then like they were talking about the way that the magnetism works through it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it doesn't transfer any heat, or I should say it doesn't block any heat. It doesn't accept any heat to itself because it's so thin.
Right, and the copper under it is under compression, so that helps keep it from expanding, which is just so. One of the things that I've said in the past, and this is just proof of how wrong I was, and I'm happy to be wrong, was that the batteries are really the most important thing, and they still are super important. But I was like, electric motors are 95% efficient. There's really no significant gains to be gotten there, and the effort really needs to be more on battery tech. And here's proof that you can make a better motor, and it's incredibly powerful. The strength to weight ratio or power to weight ratio is incredible, and you get this great performance out of it. So there's it doesn't have to be one or the other. They can improve both, and they are.
Yeah, and it still fits in the space of the original. I'm looking at it now. I'm thinking, that same T shape is the same shape as the original large rear motor. Is it had that. I'm guessing the gearbox out front, and then the inverter off to the left, and then the motor off to the right. And now you've just got two motors off to the left and the right.
Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
This photo was taken and the motors basically face each other, and apparently the casting in the middle, it's sharing the oil for the gears. It does share some resources, but they are two separate motors facing each other.
That's the way the White Zombie did it, and I know I bring this up every now and then, but that White Zombie was a homemade vehicle, and he was able to get 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds. And I saw that in, 2011. And I was like, why doesn't Tesla make a vehicle that's that fast? If this guy can do it in his garage, why can't Tesla do it? And now they have.
Exactly.
I can pull up a copy of that parts catalog here real quick.
Yeah, so it's lots of stuff is still coming out, and we've got a few more stories to touch upon. In fact, the next story Casey's got about Jay Leno and the Plaid.
Yes. So Jay Leno, as we heard leak earlier, had some seat time with the Plaid, and he managed to set himself a new record. What did they say he got? 9.247 seconds on a quarter mile. And did they catch his speed? They did not. But he was so happy. He's like, you could spend 2.5 million on a Bugatti, $1 million on a Ferrari, or you could spend 130 grand on this. And then they got him later on was it one of the news shows? They were interviewing him, and he was just gushing like a kid. It was cool to see.
Yeah, so for all those people out there saying that the Plaid is so expensive, I can't believe how much it costs. You're comparing it to the wrong thing.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody's weighing the Toyota Corolla and the Plaid on the same scale. When you're talking about a car that does under 9 seconds in the quarter mile, you're in a pretty elite automobile at that point, and the cost is also there as well.
This is the Plaid motor assembly.
Right.
And this is
got two heat exchangers. Where was the oil situation there? It's also a lot cheaper than I expected to replace the motor. That's so it's got one oil pump, like you said, and the whole thing is only 9080. Of course, it's a Tesla restricted.
$9,000, huh?
Yeah, they're not going to let you just buy one for your hobby project, which is too bad.
I need this for Zombie 2.
I'm looking to replace. I'm looking to upgrade my Model 3 motor.
Right.
Yeah.
And back to the Jay Leno story. Of course, he's doing this for Jay Leno's Garage. There's going to be an episode this fall. Hasn't been announced when, but obviously when they roll the season, it'll be in there. And the thing that I found funny with the interview is that he said to the interviewer, "Yeah, I had the air conditioning on." So there he is, sitting in a 4-door sedan with his racing helmet on and the AC running, and he sets a track record with the car.
Yeah. And
he also
the ventilated
said
seats are back.
He also said that when they got back to the tree, which of course is where the lights are to signal when to start, he said the birds that were resting on it when he left were still there.
Yeah.
So unlike traditional ice cars that have ungodly noises, the birds didn't even notice that the car was racing. They just hung around and stayed on the tree all the time.
Yeah. It didn't scare them off.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. More Plaid
With
news.
that, on to the next story. And this one is, again, about the Plaid. Unplugged Performance, which you'll know is the group of modifiers that actually have a shop right beside the Hawthorne Design Studio in the same group of buildings. And actually, they've had some collaboration with Tesla since the beginning. At this point, I believe they're an authorized modifier, which Tesla doesn't have many of them. In fact, they may be the only one. But
and a body shop too.
Unplugged ordered a Plaid, obviously, to get it day one. And as soon as after the delivery event happened, I guess they rolled it from where it was given down to LA and got it set up in the morning. And they were sharing some photos of it as it came off their truck at Laguna Seca. So you can guess what they were going to do. They, of course, are going to race it. And here's a couple shots of that vehicle. So they've had it already set to go. The graphics were ready. They did a Plaid graphic on the car. And this thing looks mean.
They're going to make sure that Jay Leno doesn't keep any records for very long.
Exactly.
On this shot right here, what are those? Are those jack stands? Or are they built into
the car? Those are jack stands that I believe travel with the car. Okay. So they can just plug in an air hose and it jacks all 4 wheels off the ground immediately.
Oh, so it's built into the car. That's cool.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's Unplugged Performance addition. I don't think it comes from Tesla that way.
No, right. You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because no
neither does that whale tail that is about the size of a whale.
That is huge.
It's still so weird to see those chrome tees when everything else.
And of course, these are not Tesla rims. These are custom rims that will handle a track.
And a red brake caliper.
Exactly.
Red brake caliper
which we noticed wheels. There were no red brake calipers on delivery night.
Right. You can buy it at Unplugged Performance, most likely.
Yeah, probably. I did see that
on there. Their badge is taller than the other one that we saw on the.
And if you're curious if the whale tail is strong, we've got an Unplugged Performance person just resting up for the big race.
Yeah, that has to be strong. It's going to be taking a lot of force. It can't just be held on with duct tape.
No. So their Plaid badge is bigger than the one that we saw that night. Let me share my screen here.
It might be another thing they're offering. If you really want to make sure people know your Plaid. Oh, that one even has the word.
Oh, it has
the word and the badge. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like serial number 2 or something. But that is so much taller than the ones that we showed and looks easier to clean. And then the Plaid wording. Nice.
That might be a sticker, that one.
Maybe.
Might be a sticker.
I'd do it that way.
But took it to Pikes Peak and we're doing some laps around the track, breaking some records. And they did announce that
Peak or Laguna Seca?
Laguna Seca.
Yeah, Laguna Seca. And they did also announce that they're prepping for Pikes Peak. So this vehicle is going there as well. So
Awesome.
yeah, so now we've got the top of the line Tesla with the new tech for keeping the car cool, the expanded size radiators, so that racing should be a lot easier for people that are going to use it for that purpose, because Tesla certainly understood from taking these or seeing people take these cars to the track, and of course some of their own testing in Germany, that they knew that the car needed some modifications in order to hold speeds over multiple laps, which the original S was unable to do.
Right,
Yeah.
Nürburgring, the green hell killed it. Yep.
Dude, I got mine to throttle on the little practice track that I took it to in North Carolina.
That's right. You tell the story where it backed off at one point for you, doing multiple laps.
Yeah. So I was on one turn leaning into it, and it's like, no, you're done. And then I got to the next turn, it's like, oh, here you go, you can do it again. I was like, all right, and I did. And then it was like, nah, I need to cool off a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing this car break some records, and of course, Pikes Peak. Hopefully, this one will be able to keep it on the road. And another story is that at Laguna Seca, I guess the driver, I believe his name is Randy, had indicated that he can't do the yoke steering wheel. He did 3 or 4 laps. Said we got to take this off and put on a standard round one, and they did so. And well, that makes sense though. The guy is used to racing with a round wheel. What are you going to do? Go for track record with something that feels foreign to you? No way.
Right.
You change back to whatever is easiest for you as a driver to handle.
He probably would have been all right if it was a real yoke.
Yeah, if it was a real racing yoke. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But with that combined with Tesla, with Musk said they were probably going to go back to the green hell. It'd be nice to see how it does around the ring.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of people who saw the Laguna Seca run and were making excuses for gas cars. They were like, yeah, they let him pass. Oh, it's not that fast. Oh, it can't corner. It's like, what do you mean it can't corner? This is like the same thing when people tell me you can't travel in it, and I'm in the middle of a 1,000-mile trip. It's like, what do you mean I can't travel with it? Here I am. Do I snap my fingers and get here?
Right.
Yeah, Casey's got a fleet of trucks that he uses to transport his Tesla around. We know that.
Right. The Superchargers, yeah. Unloaded Knight Rider style.
That's right. That's right. I've got an 18-wheeler that travels with me across the country.
Oh, that would work. An autonomous Tesla semi?
That's right. No, that's coming too, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's a interesting segment that we noticed this week in news. And of course, if you want to follow the news throughout the week, please connect with us on our Twitter feed at the Tesla Life, and on our Facebook feed, the Tesla Life #1. And we thank Patrick for monitoring that for us. And this week we found that, guess what? Another environmental group at Giga Berlin is complaining and wants the government to shut down Tesla over the new battery plant that Tesla has applied to put in place at Giga Berlin. They feel that the battery plant is going to have all this industrial waste that will be just dumped, apparently, when Tesla's making these batteries. And they're opposed for it to even open. I don't know what these Germans are doing. Like an environmental group. Are they over at BMW complaining that they're pumping out millions of cars a year?
I wonder if it's really an environmental group or if it's an AstroTurf group.
It probably is an AstroTurf. I mean, because even if they really were concerned about all this stuff, all you have to do is look at Tesla's other battery factories and see that they're not doing these things. The concerns they raise they don't seem based in reality. And at the same time, the product does complete the mission for both Tesla and for these people. Unless there are some of these people who are like, only buses. Buses are the only thing that work. And in that case, your purity test is too strong.
Yeah, if you drove to the protest in a diesel vehicle, you
Yes.
can just shut the hell up.
Exactly.
That would have been excellent. Following them back to their cars. Yeah.
Put them on blast. Hey, no more protesting for you. Look at this.
Yeah, hip-o-crit.
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen with Giga Berlin that there has been opposition, stiff opposition at some points, for getting this plant operational, and it's looking like that's still not going to stop. There are going to be people that are going to be trying to stop this all the way up until the point where they throw the line active. It looks like, and maybe even beyond that point as Tesla expands or push it forward with maybe higher volumes. So I hope the Tesla lawyer group is ready for this type of thing now that they've seen that clearly this is not going to stop.
At least they didn't set the cardboard forest on fire again.
Yeah, the cardboard forest survived this time. So
some of the comments on the article says I've read through the Nebu homepage, and if you search Daimler, their first hit is Prime Minister visits Daimler and Nebu biodiversity project. If you see the three of them planting a tree together, so Nebu are really cozy with German auto and the German government. Probably a lot of funding going on there, he alleges. No mention of poisonous gases in regard to the German auto industry. Tesla probably did not pay to bribe Nebu, and as Nebu asks, so they are being seriously PO'd and obstructing all the way. Another commenter agrees that Nebu is the most hated so-called environmental group in Germany right now, and they totally deserve it. Then there's an ad, and then a bunch of people confirm Nebu and German auto industry are in cahoots typically.
Interesting.
Allegedly.
So we'll have to continue to follow this, but it is interesting news. We're hoping, obviously, that Tesla gets the German factory online this fall, as promised. I'm thinking that for my own personal reasons.
You want to win the bet. That's what it is.
Could be part of it. But we'll have to see if anything changes there. But on to our next story. Another country. Patrick's got something about India.
That is right. So this is from Drive Tesla Canada. Tesla Model 3 spotted testing in India ahead of official launch. So there is a blue Model 3 that Tesla fans have spotted driving around in Pune. And that is a city about 2.5 hours east of Mumbai, so west central India. And Mumbai is where Tesla is going to open at least a showroom space. And they've already have incorporated under the name Tesla India Motors and Energy Private Limited earlier this year. So there's definitely some activity happening in India. And if you're in India and you've been waiting for a Tesla, you don't have to wait a whole lot longer.
Yeah, that's something that we actually get questioned a lot on our Twitter feed. We have a number of groups from India that follow us, and that's a question that comes up often. When is Tesla arriving in 2021? Well, here's some news. India. It looks like they are doing some testing. So like Patrick says, hopefully it won't be too much longer. Tesla has stated that it will happen in 2021 without putting a date on it.
Right. They're also expected to have showrooms in Delhi and Bengaluru. So they're definitely coming to India. And that's going to be a lot more autopilot data they're collecting, because they're going to need that. If they want to be able to have full self-driving worldwide, they're going to need to know how every continent behaves, every country, every city.
Yeah, so those engineers have got that the icon of the cow walking across the road instead of the person, I'm sure.
Right. Some of my Indian viewers have said there's going to be an extreme challenge there. It's not just in movies and old photographs. So this will be fun to watch that develop. I wonder if the Model 3 is really the biggest that you can really expect there, because even their trucks aren't all that wide. So a Model S or X might be, aside from being expensive, might be, depending on the tax situation and the import duties and such, it might be the largest we see there for a little while.
I know that some of my Indian friends absolutely hate the way that people drive in India. And if people start buying Teslas there, maybe they're going to say, hey, these lane lines, they actually mean something, and you better not get so close to my car. So maybe the laws will get enforced and things will change. I'm wishful thinking, but
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think it's probably better to buy the Cybertruck in India, to be frank.
right, if they dent into you,
fit.
whatever, hey, no
Right.
Yeah, it
problem.
doesn't
no.
matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Well, actually, that would work. It's still smaller than their trucks. They're big trucks, so it'll be fine.
The big trucks, yeah.
Good luck parking it, though.
Another story. Great news for Europeans who are looking to get the Model Y. Tesla has announced that they will be delivering the Model Y in Europe this fall. And that's made a number of European reservation holders quite happy. And of course, you're asking, hey, Mark, have you already won that bet about Tesla Berlin pushing out Ys? No, not quite. These are going to be Model Ys that will be made in Shanghai and shipped to Europe.
I win.
Kind of like they did with that SR Plus a while ago. So it looks like Europe is going to be getting some MIC Model Ys, made in China Model Ys. So
For those who are just catching on, we have a gentleman's agreement that Terra Texas will either be first or Giga Berlin, and I said that there will be yet another phase of Giga Shanghai, pumping out cars.
And
all over
Casey's
the
going to
world.
pick up on that win, absolutely. So this fall they're coming, and could this be because Tesla knows there's going to be a little bit of a slowdown in Berlin? I don't know, but of course they know the full picture as to how fast it's going to kick up and start running, and maybe this is an idea to cash in on some European reservation holders that are chomping at the bit to get the car. And why not? If Shanghai can produce them and it's not causing holes anywhere else in the system that they're required to go, then pushing out more for Europe makes complete sense.
I think that they just had some extra capacity and were doing it because the configurator opened up in 2019, and so these folks have been patiently waiting for their cars for 2 years now. So even if you could sell them in China, just make a batch in China and ship it back to Europe. The shipping is cheaper than having to do the logistics from California, and you get some folks a little bit happier to finally get that
Get their hands on the vehicle. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to need more factories, though.
Yes.
Yep. So they've got these two coming now, and so where are they going to announce the next one? It'll be interesting to see.
They say it needs one for every continent, so that's 6.
Probably not Antarctica, but
right,
yeah.
Because you don't need Antarctica.
And speaking of Ys at factories, here's Patrick's favorite place in Texas.
That's
where
right.
They've got a Model Y body partially assembled, it almost looks placed so that it can be drone bait for all the drones flying over Terra, Texas.
Yeah. I'm still curious.
And I'd have to say it is bait, because take a look at the floor of where it sits, as well as the floors above it. They're basically empty. There is no machinery that is building this car, and it's being placed. It's actually being put on some sort of a rolling cart and put out here and dropped so a drone can capture it from the outside.
And dropped literally, because it doesn't have any wheels or axles, and the front end is halfway there.
Or is it coming out of this boring tunnel that's right here?
Bugs Bunny kicked it up there.
Bugs Bunny took that wrong turn at Albuquerque, of course,
right?
And has now popped out in Austin.
I'm curious what that track is up there next to the car. The painted track. Yeah.
The painted track.
Yeah.
That, of course, is a drone landing spot.
Oh.
That might be for some robots to follow, or
it could be wet wheels from a car that's in there.
Right, right. Very well could be. Because they are close enough to be. Yeah. I'm curious if they will do anything further with Nevada or New York gigafactories. I mean,
Yeah.
neither of them is exactly finished, but they're both doing mad work. So
That's what I had said previously. Is I would hope that they would use Gigafactory Buffalo to put a line in of something that's low volume. You know, like the semi, which will start off as low volume. But wouldn't it be nice for the residents of New York State to have a line of semis that are produced there? I think that would be fantastic. And of course, build upon the agreement that they already have with New York State. I realize that they don't have batteries there yet. They would have to be shipped or build your own battery factory there as well. But I think giving the people of New York who have agreed to some tax cuts for Tesla to come in, I think that would be a great tool to go back to the governor and say, we'd like to expand this. What can we do?
Right now, it seems to be dedicated to Tesla Energy and superchargers.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it's not unused. It just looks like they could do more with it, and then
it's underutilized, we believe.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they'll hit some breakthrough with the solar roof, and then they'll be expanding just on energy.
Could be, yeah. Could be as that gets bigger. Casey, speaking of electricity, what story have you got for us?
I got one. You got a picture for me? So our friends,
I can bring that picture up
at Tesla Korea, South Korea, obviously, have received an email about their testing status of the CCS adapter for South Korea, which happens to use the same port and electricity as we do here in the States. So the North American
and Canada.
CCS adapter, and Canada, yes, the North American CCS adapter may not be far behind. Hopefully, they also part of half of Japan. The Japanese Teslas have the same port, but half of them are 50 hertz and half of them are 60 hertz. Which is
that's got to be messy.
It's incredibly messy. It's also why after the nuclear meltdown, it took them so long to get some stuff back online, because some parts come from the US, some parts come from UK. And they have to go in the right place, or you're making an even bigger problem than you had started with.
So what we're looking at here is the actual adapter, CCS side over here, and of course Tesla side over here.
Yep, and it's a lot less bulky than the CHAdeMO adapter. And the email that they accompanied came with a discount on the CHAdeMO adapter, because this product here is, while it's approved now, it's still running late. So I'm guessing that they might not have as much supercharger coverage there to the point where that they would even bother making a discount and making sure to rush this through. So it'll be interesting to watch, and hopefully we also benefit from this.
Absolutely. It'll be
hopefully you don't need
great to get into the market here in North America. I know many people that would buy this immediately.
Yeah. So in the UK, to get it, or I guess Europe in general, in Europe to get it, any Model 3 is CCS there, and the Raven Model S and Model X have to go in for a service, and then after the service you can no longer use CHAdeMO. But it seems a little odd they would be still selling the CHAdeMO and giving you a discount on it if then later on when they deliver your CCS, if your CHAdeMO wouldn't work anymore. So I'm hoping that means that the US and Japan, Japanese and Korean adapter is different than the European one because of that. And I think that has something to do with the way that the Type 2 is set up. Type 2 can take DC on 2 pins, whereas J1772 is not set up for that. It's AC only. That's why they have the lugs. Or if it can take DC, it can't take high DC. Go ahead.
Speaking of superchargers and charging, Patrick's got our last story with a request.
That is right. So Tesla, this is from Tesla Roddy. Tesla urged by German minister to unlock supercharging for all EVs. And we know that Tesla is open to this idea. because MKBHD asked Elon about it on Twitter last year, and Musk responded and said that there is some low-key efforts going on, and that superchargers are being made accessible to other EVs. So as we all know, Tesla has an incredible supercharging network. And if you want to have an EV as your only car, you have to have a vast, dependable way to fast charge. And right now, there's nothing that can compete with Tesla. And so some Tesla fans are like, hey, this is a horrible idea. If you open it up, then we lose our advantage, or we'll have to wait in line, or whatever. And I'm on the other side and saying that if they can open this up and it makes more people drive EVs, Tesla or otherwise, that's great for all of us. That's any electric mile is a good mile. Get more gas cars off the road, and that's Tesla's mission, right? Tesla's mission is not to make sure every car sold is a Tesla. Their mission is to make sure that every car sold is electric. And so opening up the supercharging network fits with that. And there are some things you would need to work out, like how are these other vehicles going to pay? So maybe they only open it up to vehicles that support the plug-in charge standard, where you have to pre-register everything. And then when you get to the station, you just plug in. It verifies your account, it verifies your status, it knows that it can charge you, you have a credit card on file or whatever. And then it becomes just like a Tesla, where you just pull up, plug in, and it's easy peasy. Unlike some of the stations today where you have to tap a fob or load an app or scan a QR code, and they may or may not work, and the touchscreen there may or may not work, and you may or may not get cell signal. It's a pain. I drove a non-Tesla EV for many years, and it's a pain. So this is what's happening, and it looks like Germany might be the first place where this rolls out, but I'm sure it won't be the last.
And the gatekeepers, they need to tone it down. Yes, in some places like in California where it's a little bit oversubscribed, that would be uncomfortable, but they're going to build more superchargers. They've proven it. When you look at 2012 with 0 superchargers, and then today with over 25,000 superchargers, it's they're not sitting still.
Right, and that was taking most of 2019 off because they were working on V3, and they've still done an incredible amount in just less than 10 years.
4 V3s opened up within an hour's drive of me in the last 2 months, and we weren't hurting for superchargers.
I did notice over this past year and a half or so that the pictures of crowded superchargers have really dropped off the map. That certainly could be partial the reason. It also could be that not only builds, but the pandemic stifled travel for a number of people. So, I don't really know until we get back to a full normal. Maybe next year we'll be able to see if all those superchargers in Southern California and Central and Northern California have stemmed the problem. And that's of course where the problem was. Typically, you would get people traveling between LA and San Francisco that were having issues on the 101 or the 5, and had to find found lines. But if with all these other superchargers now open along the 5 and the 101. Hopefully that problem has been alleviated, and like you said, they're not stopping. So being able to start charging for the network to others is just a natural. It's as long as the majority of people are covered anyways, having those extra ones that are sitting there available to charge people is going to be a windfall for Tesla. And of course, for people that have electric cars, it's a big win for them as well, because now they've picked up the network that was always head and shoulders above the network that they had access to. So combining both is a win for everybody in that way.
Right. And if those other EV drivers help fund Tesla, that's great. If they help fund more supercharger deployments, that's great for everybody. So yeah, it's a win-win. So let's not just start throwing rocks at those other EVs. No, come on, let's be better than that.
Yeah. But full
And then-
disclosure, the three of us are not in Southern California.
But
So
I
I do have to mention that when I go to a supercharger in my area, I'm
usually
typically the only one there. So it's I've never seen that type of use until I took a trip to California, and as soon as I hit the California border, I noticed there was a big difference in the use of superchargers.
Yeah, I had to wait at Mount
twice.
Shasta, and I had to wait in LA.
Yeah, had to wait twice, and then every other time has been close to waiting, but never had to wait. But in markets where they use the Tesla One connector, it'll be very easy. You make an adapter, and that adapter can be keyed to the account, and then just bill that. But in Germany and other EU markets, I'm not sure. You might have to limit it to cars with the plug-in charge standard, because anything else is counter to the experience if you got to swipe a card or deal with an app.
Yeah.
Right.
That would make
So
sense.
hopefully they take that into account if they get forced into doing it. But hopefully they choose to do it and they do it right rather than having to be forced.
Well, yeah, and every car manufacturer should want to support that because it's such a better experience for their customers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plug-in charge and the Tesla network.
Yeah, agreed. And if you're still with us at this point in the show, please give us a thumbs up and a subscribe if you haven't already. And that helps us out and supports the show. Casey, take a look at the chat room. Who do we got in there? Besides, we heard about Hockey Day earlier. Who else is in there?
Yeah, we got Hockey Day, JT24.
JT,
I'm going to say your name wrong. I'm sorry. Gukwap Banzi. And
I'm not even going to attempt that.
And me.
Very
Cool,
good.
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll move on to shout-outs. And Patrick, what have you got for us this week?
Sure. I am with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. And I also blog occasionally at carswithcords.net right up here. So you can check that out. And both of those are helping to bring about a future free from fossil fuels.
I thought we had him this week. I really did. He got it in. Good for him.
Yep.
Very good. Casey, what do you got for us?
I got, so far, I've published a couple of short videos based on my travels from Tesla Cam. One was a Carolina squat truck, and the other was a little bit of zoom from a sports bike rider, and a little bit of instant karma with a convenient cop. Showed right up to take care of that. And then I'm still working on the deep dive videos for the last 3 software updates. I'll probably start with the most recent one coming out and then work on the older ones, as well as some scenic drives. And then hopefully Elon doesn't beat me with a software update before I get one of them out there. Or actually, hopefully he does. That would be much more exciting.
Speaking of that squat truck.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah. Show on stream. Show on stream. Show it. There we go. Yeah, so you can find that at youtube.com/Casey Green. That's KACEYGREEN. And that was the weirdest example I've ever seen, because it had, I mean, sometimes they'll have different tires in the front and rear, but usually they're kind of close. And no,
that's not cheetah
not
stance.
close at all.
Yeah, the opposite of the cheetah stance. Yes.
How to lose a drag race, hands down, no problem.
Maybe go flying in a bad storm.
He's about to catch air.
Right.
Oh man, crazy.
Yeah. Ginger Billy asked, "What are you trying to do with those headlights? Are you trying to see the squirrels in the trees at night?"
True.
That's all it would be doing, is signaling planes. That's it for sure. Oh man, crazy. Well, with that, we'll wrap it up this evening. We will say thanks to Mr. Lee Moon, who uses music at start and finish, and we will catch you next week and you can find out what's going on in the Tesla life. Good night, everyone. Have yourselves a great week.
Bye, everybody. Stay positive. Test negative. Be safe.